I'm not the biggest Kevin Durant fan, but a couple years ago he said something that I really agreed with. Kevin Durant only really responds to negative feedback on social media. That's why he has his burner account. And someone asked him why that was, and he said, too much positivity can kill a person. And as a former low level subpar athlete myself, I completely understood what he was talking about. Nick Saban calls it poison, or like rat poison, when people give you too much praise. Because when you start feeling yourself, you can take your foot off the gas. And if you're the right kind of athlete with the right kind of mindset, negativity, critique, criticism, unwelcome feedback can motivate you, sharpen your focus, and increase your intensity. So, whenever I'm met with negativity, as long as it's constructive, because it can go one of two ways with me. I can either completely dismiss what you're saying, or I can take what you're saying and use it as fuel. The only negative feedback I've ever heard about my shop is the size of the shop, that it's just too big for a barbershop. And I agree. I was a forward thinker. 4 years ago when we opened up, I thought for sure we were going to have so many barbers wanting to work in the building because of our location that it was just a matter of time. I just had to just be patient. Well, 4 years later, I only got 7 barbers. Now, it is growing. The area is booming. There's more businesses coming around here. There's way more houses that have been built around here. But I have only had a couple negative. I wouldn't even call them negative. I would call them critiques. I've had a handful of clients say, "Man, you probably did it too big for your first shop." And again, I agree. I did have one guy that begged me to work in my shop for months. I finally gave him an opportunity. He came and worked in my shop for one day. And then while working there, I told him like, "Yo, man, you have enough clientele to, build your own thing." And I called him out. I said, "You're scared. You're a scary dude. You don't have the courage to go out on your own. Like that's why you begged me to work here. Like you can do your own thing." So the next day he comes to my shop, says him, his wife, and his mom prayed about it, and he's gonna, branch off and do his own thing. So he did. Sadly, only a few months later, his first shop shut down, and then he resurfaced at another location. And I think it's still open because one of his barbers came to work in my shop a little while ago. But that barber that opened up his own shop after working in my shop made a comment on one of my other barbers' pages and was like sneak dissing my shop, talking about how I got too much going on and how messy it is, and all this stuff. But he did it from an anonymous page. So I looked him up. I figured out who it was. Turns out it was a dude that worked in my shop for a day after begging to work there. Otherwise, the first shop that I worked at, the owner came into my shop about 6, maybe 8 months ago, and he had some critiques. I don't even remember what he said. I just remember how it made me feel. And he ultimately ended up asking me if I would be willing to sell him my shop. And but he never made me an offer. He just asked what I would sell it for, and I told him, "You make me an offer. You want to buy my shop? I didn't come to you about this, so you tell me what it's worth." And he said he talked to his wife and they would get back to me on it. But I ain't heard from him since. Now, I can see how this could be annoying or whatever, but ultimately, this is just sneak dissing. They're just upset that you built a shop on their turf, quote unquote. But there's a newer shop that opened up across the street from me. I went and congratulated them. There was a shop down the street from me that opened up about a year, maybe 2 years after I opened up. I went, shook the owner's hand, congratulated him, brought him a bottle of wine. I'm all for competition because you can't outdo me. You can't out hustle me. You can't outwork me. If I put my mind to it, you can't do nothing about me. So I welcome competition. I hope y'all can handle me because I can handle y'all. That's my mentality. So I welcome competition. So none of this stuff would ever bother me. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Follow me. I stream daily on TikTok, Twitch, Kick, and YouTube.